Hey guys, it's Blue Eyes Master 91. I know it's been the better part of a year, I want to say. A lot has been going on. It's just been a very, very hectic 2024. I'm happy to be back. And I thought that I would start the year off right by doing a video for the deck that I've been playing for the latter half of 24, the new Exodia deck. So without further ado, let's just dive in. So I've found that this deck is great, just, you know, not adding in other strategies, but uh, it's really, really consistent when you add in other ways to play. So you obviously need the 5 pieces. There's no way around that. That's just gonna happen. Then you need 3 copies of Heart of the Blue Eyes. That's just, it's a ridiculously good card. This is one of the best starters you can get in the deck to open up. It doesn't cost you any life points like every other starter in the deck does, and it just searches out Ankh. It's a good way to bait out an Ash. So that way you can use other searchers to get to Ankh. And the way I run the deck is very different as well. Most people only ever want to have 1 copy in their hand for Ankh. I like having 2 in my hand so that way I have a way to follow up on the following turn without having to pay life points. So I'm a bit different on that. I don't know if it's just preference from playing this game for so long or not liking the idea of having to burn through 2,000 life points to play any of these guys if you don't have a copy in your hand. So I really love these retrains. They're phenomenal. Senjin Awakes from Millennium is a great 3 of. You can set it into your spell and trap card zone and then pay 2,000 points or reveal Millennium Ankh in your hand to summon it, and then it searches out either your copy of Shield or Blue Eyes. It's extremely powerful. I absolutely love this card. It's great as a 3 of. Millennium Shield is another really, really great card in this deck. 3,000 defense. You pay 2,000 life points or reveal the Millennium Ankh in your hand, and you get to add a Millennium Ankh to your hand. Again, it's really, really good. I often use Shield and Blue Eyes in the same turn when I'm able to, just to, again, have that second Ankh in my hand for the following turn if I'm unable to close out the match. And then the final Millennium Monster is our Golem. I'm running him at 2. I've seen a lot of decks lately running him at 3. Out of the original 3 monsters for this deck, Senjin, Shield, and Golem, Golem is by far the weakest, in my opinion. He searches out your field spell. And the field spell is fantastic because it can get your plays going. But Golem's main attraction, at least in my eyes, is the fact that I believe he's the one who makes it. Yeah, the activation of your Millennium Ankh cannot be negated. I absolutely love that effect. And that is one of the reasons I run him at 2 and not 3 is because he does have a really, really nice protection effect of sorts. But other than that, I can't say too many nice things about Golem. I usually try to get rid of him as soon as I can. He's not as useful as the other 2. Shield has 3,000 defense. And then Senjin is a 2750 attacker. So he's got a little bit more versatility than the Golem with 2022 defense. So, As for other cards in the deck, I am running the Horus, a small Horus package. 3 City, 1 Happy, and then 1. I can't pronounce that first name, so Protection of Horus. It's mostly for the aesthetic of the Egyptian theme, but I found that Imseti can help, especially if you don't have a great opening hand and you have an Imseti in your hand. It can help you unbrick a little bit. It can give you a 3k attacker. It can give you a way to draw an additional card. It's just a really, really good follow-up play. Like, you can go through all the Horus stuff, searching out King Sark, activating it, pitching these two, and then go through with all your Exodia plays and have a bunch of follow-up for the following turn. Not to mention that when King Sark is on the field, the Horus monsters are absolute menaces. Following those up, I have 2 copies of Ash, not 3, and then 1 copy of the Sphere Mode. The reason for this is mostly because while I like Ash and having it, it's not nearly as useful. I found I was running a copy of Spooky Dogwood, which I thought I still was, actually. So I may have to sit and look for that. I know I had 2 copies in my side deck that I just removed, but I definitely think that a copy of Spooky Ghostwood plus the 2 Ash and then the Spear Mode is absolutely fantastic. Spooky Dogwood makes it so that if you have to pay your life points to play the Millennium Monsters, it's not that big of a deal if your opponent summons a bunch in a single turn. Ash is still a phenomenal hand trap, and then Sphere Mode punishes for having having 3 monsters on your opponent's side of the field that you can use. So it's I try to the way I have this deck built is I tried to find a way to mitigate losing life points when I activate the Millennium Monster effects. If I can, on my opponent's first turn, drop Spooky Dogwood and go up to, say, 30,000 life points, which I've done 5 times so far with this deck, fairly consistently as well. And then go through all of my Millennium plays. It helps out a lot because you're not as worried. Not to mention the Exodia Fusion monster gains attack points equal to where your life points currently are and then continues to stack that. So if you're sitting at 20,000 life points and you have the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate on the field, and then you go into attack, his attack goes up to 2,000. Say the next turn you have 10,000 life points still. It would go up to 30,000. So it's just a way to ensure the maximum attacking power you can absolutely have from Exodia. In my opinion. Spooky Dogwood is really, really good in this deck. And a lot of people dislike my use of it, so there's that. We're running 3 copies of Ankh, 2 copies of Temple. Not a lot to say about either of these. Ankh is fantastic. You reveal the 5 pieces of Exodia in your deck to special summon out your copy of Incarnate. And then you shuffle Millennium Ankh along with the pieces you reveal. If you have pieces in your hand, you do reveal those. And you do not shuffle if they're in your hand. And then you also, any monsters that are not Millennium or level 10 and higher Exodia cards get shuffled back as well. So that goes back to the Horus engine plays. You can have a phenomenal board go into your Exodia and then lose your follow-through plays. So, again, having the horse monster spend a turn in the graveyard, not super ideal because you can lose King Sarcophagus very quickly. But I would rather risk that than have to pitch stuff in my hand a second turn. So there's a nice give and take there. It's a phenomenal spell. It's fairly broken in my opinion. Wedju Temple is a great field spell. Um, During the main phase, you can place a monster from your hand in the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. Then place a Millennium monster from your deck in the spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. You can only use this effect once per turn. If a face-up Millennium monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place it in the spell and trap card zone. So this is what I mean by the follow-up ability of the deck. You don't have to lose your monsters. They can go into the spell and trap card zone. And then if you have another copy of Ankh in your hand the following turn, you can just recycle your plays by resummoning and refortifying your cards. So it's a really, really good field spell. And then again, Ankh is just phenomenal. Cannot say enough good things about Millennium Ankh. I am running one copy of Obliterate Blaze and then a single copy of Exodia Fire of Rage. Fire Rage is a full board wipe, back row, and monsters. All monsters go away. All spell and trap cards your opponent controls go away as long as you have an Exodia. The Exodia Fusion needs to be on the field to use this trap. And then you can banish it to either shuffle up to 5 pieces of Exodia from your graveyard back into the deck, or add a piece from the deck to your hand. From the deck to your hand. So it's a really, really good trap. Obliterate Blaze gives the fusion an additional ability. It can either give it piercing damage, or it or by paying half your life points, you would destroy as many cards in the spell and trap card zone as possible. Then equip the 5 pieces of Exodia to the fusion monster, and for each piece it gains 2,000 attack. So Obliterate Blaze is great to go in for game, while Exodia Fire of Rage sets that up. They're a really, really good 1-2 punch. I'm going with 2 copies of King Sarcophagus, 2 copies of the Secret Village, 1 Change of Heart, 1 Mind Control, 1 Raigeki. Secret Village is great in this deck. All the Horus monsters are considered spellcasters. Not a lot to discuss on that. Change of Heart, Mind Control help to set up link plays and to help clear out your opponent's board a little bit more. And then Raigeki is just a great board wipe. An additional board wipe in any case. And then we have the Feather Duster, Set Rotation, and Terraforming. Terraforming and Set Rotation get you to your field spell. Another way to get to it anyway. With Set Rotation allowing you to set 1 in your field zone and 1 in your opponent's. It's fantastic. It's super, super useful. And then Feather Duster just destroys your opponent's back row. So, again, really, really useful. Absolutely love everything about them. And then for the last handful of cards, it's 2 copies of Imperm and 1 copy of Angel Statue. A lot of these are very, very standard for the deck. Not a lot extra I can say on the deck. Before we get into the extra deck, I'll go over the side deck super, super quick. So, for the side deck, something I wanted to try this week at locals is having the Bestials in the side deck. With how the format is right now, the Bestials are super strong. Really, really useful to have. So, having a way to utilize them, or having a way to restrict your opponent a little bit with the bestios by banishing stuff is always really, really good. Magma can search out your copy of Heart of the Blue Eyes as well, so that's always useful as a searcher. Lebellion is 3,000 attack. It's really, really nice. Not a lot more I can say on them. I got an additional copy of Ghostwood and the Final Ash. Some more controversial stuff. I do have 2 Thrust and a Tactic. All super useful, especially this format. Thrust and Tactics are great. Thrust can get you to a copy of Ankh. Tactic is triple Tactics talent. So, I mean, they're both really, really powerful. We got Called By, Spell Card, Monster Reborn, and then Imperial Iron Wall, which is a decent trap card to prevent banishment. That's only in because I can't find my copies of Lancia at the moment. Once I find those, I'll likely change up my side deck a little bit more, so that way Lancia is in the deck. But for now, the trap card does work and serves a good purpose. Getting into the extra deck now, we have the three copies of Exodia Incarnate. Not a whole lot to say about him. This deck's been in the format for a while now, so everyone should know more or less what he does. If you don't, he can be Millennium Ankh, gains attack equal to your life points. During each of your standby phases, you lose 1,000 life points. During the end phase, you can set an Obliterate or Exod card. So your Exod Blaze and Fire of Rage can be set during each end phase, including your opponents. Not a lot else to say about that. We have Hope and Photon Lord, just defensive bodies with great effects to help control the game a little bit. Exodia Incarnate is a spell trap negate as well, but it is it's a soft once per turn negate. Yeah, it's a soft once a turn negate, but it's still really, really important to have other ways to shut down spells and effects that your opponents may use. We have Underworld Goddess. We have Selene. Luster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. IP. SP. Silhouette Rabbit. Phoenix. Access Code Talker. All these are standard. I think the most controversial out of these would be probably the Luster Soldier, in all honesty. Not a lot of people are using him, but he is fantastic in this deck. He can get really, really big, and it's really useful in getting monsters off the board, especially if you're using both Change of Heart and Mind Control. You can use both monsters you steal, plus one of yours to link summon. You can go into a link 3 that's fairly powerful. We do have our Moon. And another card that might be a little controversial is Sorcerer of Sebek. I saw a profile online probably 2 months ago that was using Sorcerer of Sebek, and I finally decided to give it a shot, and I really like it. It's fantastic in this deck and another way to increase your life points. So it's always nice to have a way to recover life. But yeah, other than that, I don't got a whole lot else. I do love I don't know how well you can see it, but I do love these sleeves. These are fantastic from Dragon's Shield. And then the outer sleeve, I just really like the Egyptian theme. You have all the Millennium items. The extra deck ones. On the main deck, it's the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jason David Frank's first color. I really love this outer sleeve. You see the dragon sword and dagger on both sides. It's beautiful. A little bit more of an update real quick, just in general. I know this video is kind of long, but my office should be ready, I'll say, by summer. My goal is to post as frequently as I can. Try to get back on a somewhat of a production schedule. But we'll see how work goes and how all that goes. But that's all I got for you guys for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead, like, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. If you have any ideas or ways to help improve this deck, please go ahead and drop a comment explaining what you would change out. Or if you like the build, just say that you like the idea, I guess. Not really sure on that one, I'll be honest. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video.